Thank you for taking the time to join us for this DVD production by the Western Virginia Land Trust. My name is David Hurt. I was born and raised in Southwest Virginia, and I live on a family home place that's protected forever by a conservation easement. If you own rural land, there are choices you're going to have to make about your land someday, or else someone else may make them for you. It might even be the government. So please join us as we visit other landowners across this part of the state who protected the special places they love with conservation easements. We'll look at the ins and outs of the easement process, the tax benefits that come with it, and most importantly, how you can make sure that the place you love the most is protected for future generations. What are your goals for your land? What do you want to happen to it in years to come? Do you just assume that your family members are going to inherit it without any problems? And most importantly, what's your family's vision for your property? Please join us in this next segment as we visit other landowners who talk about their long-term goals and how they've dealt with these issues.
If you're watching this, it's probably because you or your family own land and you're concerned about what's going to happen to your land after you're gone. You may want to make sure it remains rural and undeveloped or kept available for farming. Or you may want to earn additional income from your land without having to sell it. You may need a tax deduction or tax credits, or you may have concerns about estate taxes. Many landowners in our area with 100 acres or more of land have looked at conservation easements to help them meet their goals for the land. For example, you may want to keep your land in farming and make sure it stays in your family. A conservation easement can help ensure the transition of land from parents to their children and make certain it retains its rural character.
This farm is that we live on now, we moved down to this house in 1975. And it's a fourth generation farm of the Dillon family. My wife, Jean, parents and her grandparents and her great-grandparents were here for all these years, and it's been a working farm for all these years. And some of her relatives who were in the Civil War are buried here on the property. So it's been a working farm, and it's provided a livelihood for her family and for our family for over 100 years.
Well, of course, this was my mother's home place. She was born here, stayed here, married, and died here. And of course, I was born here. I just cannot see this property being turned into a subdivision and a house step out of your back door into somebody else's back door.
I built a dairy barn in 1950. And in November 1950, we started selling grade A milk on the Roanoke market. We were always involved in agriculture and agriculture production and serving agriculture through cooperatives, and realizing how many housing developments are coming in, and we could visualize possibility that someday it might be that way here.
When he first brought me down here, it's so far away that I said never until I saw the creek. And if we don't start taking care of what we have and protecting it, we're just going to be all houses and people and nowhere to go or nowhere to appreciate God's glory. And
we wanted to do something to preserve the creek because it means so much to us and it means so much to people in the future. So we put it under the conservation easement, and so that will help protect it from industry or things that will bother the watershed.
My parents and our son are buried here up on the ridge top, so we have great ties to this land. We're certainly not natives to this part of the country, but we do love it very much.
You may want to transform the development potential of your land into a great package of federal tax deductions and state tax credits. A conservation easement can help you get paid for keeping your land the way you want it. Just doing nothing is not a good option for most landowners because it means that your wishes for your land may not be carried out. Remember, no decision is still a decision, but you won't have any say over what happens to your land once you're gone.
Small farms seem to be almost a thing of the past. Having grown up on the farm, I think that it's just such a wonderful place to live and raise a family that I just wanted to kind of preserve that tradition a little bit. Maybe all of the small farms won't vanish.
It's a good way, or I guess really the only way that you can protect your property from future development at the present time. I don't know of any other way that you can do it.
In the next chapter, we'll examine conservation easements in detail.